Tonight, Australia Day with a difference commemorated across our region, and Broken Hill and Port Augusta's most dedicated community members recognised.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. Communities across the region have come together to mark Australia Day, with this year's celebrations looking different due to COVID-19. Despite the restricted numbers, Port Pirie's annual ceremony went ahead in Flinders Park.
In true Aussie spirit, communities united to celebrate our country. A smaller than usual ceremony in Port Pirie's Flinders Park with numbers capped and sign-ins mandatory. The reduced gatherings a familiar sight across the regions as organisers worked around the clock to get the events up and running. This didn't stop crowds of eager Port Pirie locals still bringing in their deck chairs to sit down and celebrate Australians past and present.
I'm super proud of what our committee has done. It would have been quite easy during this COVID year to just let it go through to the keeper and not do anything. Our committee in Port Pirie has done everything by the COVID standards that are required.
There was a renewed emphasis on inclusiveness as controversy about the date of our National Day continues to grow.
We don't forget our past as a group of, very multicultural country now, but that we reflect and we respect each other.
As I said in my speech, have my grandchildren look out in a crowd and not see colour, not see religion, just see people. And I think once we do that, we'll get a bond above everything.
This Australian Day ambassador sharing her story of being diagnosed with dementia and advocating for better care.
So I've campaigned for the last nearly 10 years to improve the post-diagnostic experience for people with dementia and for a human rights approach for people with dementia around the world.
Here in Port Pirie, the rain held off just in time for all recipients to receive their awards.
The great thing I found with all of the speeches that were made, that nobody does this for the recognition. They just continue to do stuff, and then one day they're super surprised that somebody recognises how much they've done for our community.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Those with the community at heart have been recognised at Broken Hill's Citizen of the Year Awards. The top honour going to a backyard astronomer whose scientific observations have earned him global acclaim.
They're our model citizens putting others before themselves. Coming from all walks of life, they're united by a shared love of Broken Hill.
Australia Day captures the essence of community spirit, and today we recognise a person who truly reflects community.
Trevor Barry awarded Citizen of the Year for his work in the field of astronomy.
I just kept building ever larger telescopes, and then I had to have an observatory to house it, and then the observatory went 2-storey.
A chance encounter working in the mines, sparking a lifelong passion. Trevor now working with globally recognised scientists, helping put the Broken Hill Observatory on the world stage.
I never looked up. Most of the population doesn't look up.
11-year-old Abby Kelly already making a name for herself, named Young Citizen of the Year for her charity work.
As long as one person believes, and no matter who they are, we can all make a difference.
Not content with just raising money, this rising star has her eyes set on a much larger goal.
I really want to be a biomedical research scientist and hopefully find a cure for cancer.
Trevor Dart, Dawn Morby and Trevor Murphy recognised for their countless volunteer hours, while Edie Carr was crowned Senior Citizen of the Year, still volunteering at age 93.
And I wouldn't live anywhere else. Broken Hill's the top place.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
And Port Augusta locals have been recognised for their achievements at the city's Australia Day ceremony. Award winners proud to be recognised, saying their aim is to make the region a better place to live.
Recognising locals for their contributions that go the extra mile in Port Augusta. South Augusta Football Club winning the Community Event Award for a second consecutive year. The club holding a bushfire recovery fundraiser last summer, which helped support a fellow team on Kangaroo Island.
The people in our club deserve this. Committee people, members, supporters and the general Port Augusta community that supported our event back in January last year.
Port Augusta local Chris Nader was awarded Citizen of the Year for her endless contributions to the Australian Arid Lands Botanic Gardens over the past 24 years.
It's lovely to know that people appreciate what you do, but the thing is, I just do it because I love doing it.
Young Citizens of the Year, Perry Harvey and Mia Smith, say they are proud to represent the future of the city. Perry, a registered nurse, selflessly volunteered to help with the COVID-19 response in Victoria.
It's an honour, I think in Port Augusta in particular, it's great to have young people contributing to the community and everything.
Mia, nominated for her leadership in the Scouts, along with volunteering efforts for numerous events and organisations.
It feels amazing to know that my efforts in the community and Scouts have been acknowledged and that people as young as me can get Young Citizen.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, we meet the Port Lincoln residents who have decided to call Australia home. And regional events set for a $1 million boost. Welcome back. Dozens of South Australians have used our National Day to take the pledge and become citizens at ceremonies across the Spencer Gulf today. In Port Lincoln, 9 new residents were formally welcomed into the community.
There was no lack of fanfare in Port Lincoln this morning as 9 new residents officially became Australian citizens.
It's not just a place I live, it's an actual home now.
The Port Lincoln City Band helping set the Aussie mood before a traditional welcome to country to open the ceremony. The new citizens heading to the stage to take their pledge.
Pretty exciting to be here in Port Lincoln and to have our ceremony on Australia Day. We're really looking forward to that. One
by one receiving their certificate and a small present. Alex Hart moved from England in 2012 with an Australian dream to be a teacher. Now officially a citizen, he plans to go to university and turn that dream into a reality.
So I move over on the 20th of February, so as soon as I'm out of here I'll be enrolling.
Always a good feeling when you have a citizenship ceremony because it means that we are actually getting new citizens into Australia, and particularly for Port Lincoln. These people are very, very special to us.
The ceremony looking a bit different this year with COVID regulations moving it inside.
Felt that if we could do this inside and still stay within the rules and the restrictions that are on us, we might be able to pull it off. Well, I've got to say it was a great ceremony.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Turning to other news now, and 2 COVID-19 directions have been updated in South Australia in response to recent cases in New Zealand. People who have been in or travelled from New Zealand on or after January 14 must submit a COVID test within 24 hours and self-quarantine. People travelling from New Zealand on or after January 26 must quarantine in a Medi-hotel for 14 days. Entry into aged care facilities is not permitted. 2 men have been reported for allegedly performing burnouts at Wallaroo Beach. Just after 1 o'clock on Sunday, patrols were alerted to 2 vehicles allegedly doing them near young children. A 33-year-old Clavelli Park man and a 29-year-old Royal Park man were both reported for misuse of a motor vehicle. Both will appear in court at a later date. 2 P-plate drivers will likely lose their licence after they were caught speeding at Mortana near Streaky Bay. The 2 separate vehicles were caught just after midday yesterday, travelling at 152 and 147 kilometres an hour. An 18-year-old from the state's mid-north and a 19-year-old from the Eyre Peninsula were both slapped with $2,062 fines. The member for Frome has urged the state government to prioritise TAFE in the regions by improving local campuses. However, the minister in charge claims there's been a surge in new apprentices compared to the previous government.
In a region where apprenticeships form a large part of the local workforce, TAFE plays a major role in training Spencer Gulf workers. However, Jeff Brock has concerns about its future as the government considers cuts for the institution.
The opportunities to maintain our TAFE facilities in regional South Australia, in Port Pirie and Port Augusta in particular, but to improve that and to make it more accessible to the young kids in the regions to be able to train.
Minister David Pisoni rejecting the claims, saying apprenticeships have risen since the Liberals came into power.
Through diversifying TAFE's priorities into regional South Australia. This is a tremendous turnaround from what Mr Brock and the Labor government left back when they were in office for regional South Australia.
The independent MP, however, wants more investment funnelled into TAFE.
And if you start reducing funding for any organisation, then they haven't got the opportunity to be able to give the best trainers out to the services and facilities.
But the minister says their focus is firmly fixed on growing the workforce.
Very excited about the opportunities for apprenticeships and traineeships in regional South Australia. We've got a focus on growing.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Regional events in South Australia are cashing in, with the state government rolling out a $1 million boost for country festivals. The money's set to help events bounce back after what's been a chaotic 12 months.
It's meant to be one of the busiest weekends on Port Lincoln's calendar.
We're very sad we couldn't hold the festival this year, but it just became too hard.
The city's iconic Tunarama Festival forced to cancel this year's event amid the pandemic. Organisers have their fingers crossed for next year though, but the financial pressure is still another hurdle in their way.
The only funding that Tunarama receives from a government level is the $10,000 cash from council plus $15,000 of in-kind support. And while that is fantastic, that doesn't make a festival.
But there's hope on the horizon with the announcement of a $1 million boost for regional events.
Those events have had their challenges in this past year, of course, as we all have, and this hopefully will give them some impetus to carry on bigger and better than ever before.
It will make all the difference.
The funding is split into 4 categories: significant event funding from $50,000, established event funding of up to $50,000, development of $20,000 and emerging with $10,000. Tunarama already applying for the grants.
It would be absolutely fantastic to have some extra hands, extra heads and extra help.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. A Port Augusta community icon set for a renovation. And Darling River pumping restrictions ease for landholders. Port Augusta City Council will apply for a state government grant to help upgrade ageing infrastructure. The Mayor says the funding is needed to ensure they can provide modern facilities for the community.
For 50 years, this pool has been a summer lifesaver, but the Ryan Mitchell Swim Centre is starting to show its age. City Council turning to the state government's Local Government Infrastructure Partnership program to help bring it into the 21st century.
For a $2 million project, $1 million of which will come from, we hope, from the fund. The other $1 million that Council will look at from other sources.
The upgrades aimed at repairing the complex so it can continue providing a space for locals to beat the heat.
For things like relighting of the pool, upgrades to the existing pump structures, and also to respond to things like disability access into it by the construction of a ramp.
Council also proposing to include a new child-friendly space.
We're looking at the opportunity of removing one of the smaller pools and turning it into a water park for the children, which would be fantastic if we can get this funding to match.
It's expected a decision on whether Council receives funding will be made in early April.
It's a great initiative, I believe. It's great for our community and it's a good place for people to go and share their family moments.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Some irrigators along the Darling River are able to resume water pumping. Increased flow along the river allowing restrictions to be lifted for A-class licence holders, just 2 weeks after tougher measures were introduced. Water New South Wales predicts other licence holders will be able to pump from February, with recent rainfall improving river conditions. Time to go around the grounds and see how your local team fared in the demanding conditions over the weekend. Here's Lachlan Itter with this week's Sports Wrap.
Broken Hill harness racers took part in their final trial before the season begins early next month. Metro image driven and trained by Aaron Code, recording a time of 2 minutes 4.9 seconds. Metro image crossing the line just 1 metre ahead of misperception. It was a completely different story in the second trial. Raymond Slater driving Bay gelding Tony Cam, finishing with a truly impressive 23.9 metre lead and a time just a second over 2 minutes. In Port Augusta's men's basketball, it was a close contest between the Titans and Eagles, the latter securing the win by 3 points. The other match wasn't as thrilling, Cobras doubling the Wildcats' score to take home a comfortable win. To Whyalla softball now, and Friday night's game between the Tigers and Eagles was a 10-all draw, but the revert back rule swung the result in the Eagles' favour. The Tigers had 3 double plays for the game, Kathy Wilson hitting a home run, while Tanya Turner's 3 safe hits, 2 putouts and 3 assists helped keep the run score down. Meanwhile, the Roadrunners had an easy 10-run win over Indians. It was a big weekend of golf in Port Lincoln. 66 men and 15 women playing in a Stableford competition. Greg Cotton winning A-grade with 40, a narrow victory over Matt Parker. Liz Weatherspoon winning the ladies' event with 37 points on a countback from Heather Darley and Deb Sykes. Well done to everyone who came away with a win. If you'd like to see your league scores included in our bulletin, please do get in touch through our Facebook page.
Stay with us after the break. Alex Sykes will join us to take a look at the latest weather details. Hello again. Yesterday's thirst-quenching rains were welcomed in most parts, but the heavy falls also cut off a section of the Flinders Ranges. Bulkunda Creek north of Quorn overflowed, blocking the main highway linking the town to Hawker. The road is expected to be reopened tonight, but motorists are reminded to take precautions and not drive through floodwaters. Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather across our region. With all the details, here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John. It's hard to believe temperatures were in the 40s just a few days ago, with conditions feeling a lot cooler today. From 3 p.m, Port Augusta reached 27, Cleve got to a high of 19, mostly sunny, and 31 in Cooper Pedy. It was 23 in Whyalla, Port Lincoln and Adelaide reached 24 in both Broken Hill and Port Pirie. It was cloudy in Woodner and reached 25 there. Kadina partly cloudy, 19 degrees. Clare reached a top of 20. Taking a look at today's skies, low clouds skimming southern and central parts of SA due to cool southerlies is bringing the odd light shower. Cloud building in the far north near the NT border with a trough is causing a few storms. Skies are clearer elsewhere under high pressure. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southerly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 1 to 2 metres, and south to southwesterly swell below 1 metre. Sunny across most parts of the region. Port Lincoln partly cloudy, set to reach a high of 23 degrees. Cleve cloud clearing, 24 there. Woodner sunny and 29. Whyalla sunny and 27 degrees. Port Augusta sunny and 31. Kadina 29 degrees. Port Pirie 31 degrees. Clare set to reach 26 degrees. And Broken Hill sunny and 29. Taking a look further through the week now, heating up on Thursday with mainly fine conditions across our beautiful region. A top of 35 degrees at Cooper Pedy, 34 at Port Augusta and Port Pirie. Whyalla, Adelaide and Woodner predicted to reach a top of 30 degrees. Similar conditions forecast for Friday, with temperatures heating up. 38 set to be the top in Cooper Pedy, 34 in Port Augusta and Broken Hill, and 26 in Port Lincoln. And on Saturday, 37 and sunny in Cooper Pedy, 27 in Whyalla and Adelaide, and it's set to reach a top of 31 in Port Augusta and Port Pirie. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's been a pleasure. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Australia Day. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Until then, enjoy the rest of your public holiday. Good night.